What's up, y'all? ifeigle FLOWTOX out here running on the north side of Chicago. Freaking feeling it. Feeling it. Saw a tweet today saying something like, thinking about moving these days is like trying to figure out where to build your ark. As in Noah's Ark, as in like preparing for the flood, as in preparing for end times. And I can really relate to it. Haven't thought about moving here in the past few months out of Chicago, out west or out east or down south or anywhere. But thinking about moving anywhere becomes a chain of thoughts of what the future will look like in said areas and how well it will undergo climate change, and what's the cost benefit analysis of moving to certain areas. Flooding is a big worry. Forest fires is a big worry. Water supply is a big worry. Famine. I doubt there will be much famine here in America, though. Famine across the world for sure. But as an American at this point, I'm pretty much restricted to the bounds of my North America. Not even. Can't get up to Canada. Probably can't get down to Mexico. Could think about places like Guyana or Belize or Mexico or the Virgin Islands. The fuck? Watching the Epstein files on Netflix right now makes me not want to move to the Virgin Islands. And definitely not to Florida. Definitely not to New York. All places in which the waters are coming. Flooding in New York is now forecasted. Flooding in Miami and southern Florida is forecasted. It's limestone bedrock. Just pours like a sponge and the water just comes right up through the rock. Comes from below. Anyways, yeah, feeling it pretty good. Still thinking about my own healing process and how the injuries to the left side of my body, which I sort of indexed yesterday, had all happened to the left hemisphere of my nervous system, my sinistral side, from breaking my clavicle in 2004 to smashing my face and chipping my front tooth in 2011, and then breaking my left ankle in Utah in 2013 or 14, I believe. I think it was 2014. and even the impact on the left side of my head, I think has done something to me. Although I got an MRI that night, I smashed my head in the dirty ass alleys under the Red Line in uptown Chicago. I was riding my bike. Although I got the MRI, they said I wasn't concussed, but I went through something. It's definitely emotional, psychological, and physical, the effects of that night. And the trauma of, I don't know, just going through that. I had so many dreams of breaking my teeth in the years following that smash in my face in 2011. Just had so much teeth insecurity. And today, been still trying to keep up on my dental hygiene as much as I can. Flossing daily, brushing twice, doing some oil pulling, mouthwash, Listerine mouthwash, doing everything I can. And that was one thing about the start of the pandemic, wearing those masks, especially wearing the N95 mask. Everyone was getting a real good taste of their oral health, just basking nose and mouth in it. So I feel like a lot of people, well, I hope a lot of people have taken their dental health, their oral health more seriously now that they've been living so close to it. And I do believe about myself that through these injuries, working from my ankle to my shoulder and to my tooth and my eye and my skull, that I've somehow been accommodating to its pain and sort of what is it called? Fuck. You know, by favoring it, I eventually lost response in that side, in my whole left side. Happened early on in my left arm, you know, because that was my earliest injury. My buddy in high school used to make fun of me in the years after about how when I would walk around, my left arm would just stay straight. Like I wouldn't swing my arm at all when I was walking. I never noticed it. I've tried to work on it. Right now, here's my left arm. I'm trying to. And I think breaking my left ankle, which I never got treated, which now has like a huge lump, sort of muscly, fatty mass ball at my ankle on my left side, which I don't have on my right side there. And with persistent foot cramps and leg cramps, it's really important for me to stretch and like work through that pain, because it will cramp up and it will be painful, but it's working out the pain. It's breaking through that scar tissue and all that will create the flexibility I need to feel like there's a flow, an actual flow running through me. And I started thinking about this, having read, I was reading Alan Watts. It was a really short book. I think it was just like how to be here now. No, that's Ram Dass. It's something I rented from the library. It's an Alan Watts book. about stilling the mind, about creating how to create a still mind. And one exercise in that book really had profound effects on me, which is, I feel like, a pretty basic meditation tool in which you're in a relaxed position and you're thinking about your breath and all that, but you start at the tips of your toes and work your thought all the way through your body and taking a register of how each spot feels. And having done this a few times, I began to feel that right off the bat, on the left side of my foot, there's a most definite, sort of like a knotted feeling. It's muscular and it's sort of psychological, and looking at how one has compensated for that pain and sort of created a calloused sense at that point becomes very apparent. And having done this, I kept going up and I felt it in my left shoulder and even in the left side of my face, where I'd probably smashed my head good enough where I incurred a concussion, in which I never truly healed from. And I think my left eye, if I look at you now, I believe my left eye is a little smaller than my right eye, because I smashed all this right here and I chipped my tooth. And so in the years since, I feel like I've compensated my injury by reducing my aperture, by attenuating my experience to my pain. And that creating sort of an emotional complex in it all, in which my left eye is feeding my right brain, and which is, my theoretical and empathetic and understanding and receptive and artistic side of the brain, in which the feed it's getting is being attenuated and not shown at its brightest, and how that all plays into my worldview and my perception, and how that working on opening up my left side and working on really trying to perceive through my left eye, in which I've favored and in which it's atrophied is the word I was looking for. I feel like I've let the left side of my nervous system and my body sort of atrophy in order to favor the pain that I feel knotted up in that side of my body. And how it becomes a psychosomatic loop in which the body affects the mind, and then the mind affects the body, and it takes actual feeling to understand what's happening. You have to actually feel your body, not with your hands, but think about the insides of your body and how your body operates and what's happening in there. And you don't need to know what's happening, you just need to know how it feels. And something's wrong if it feels wrong. And that might have been I think that is part of that's the very nascent steps of what I feel like I've been doing, is becoming aware of how my diet affects me, becoming aware of my movements on a daily basis, and how much I'm passing, and how good or how bad I'm feeling mentally or physically. trying to feel all of it and try to see its source for truly what it is, which is something in me and a blockage that I have, and not a blockage that the world has. The world is open. The people in it are not. And I guess that's the feeling of needing to express yourself, is needing to open yourself up when it may be dangerous to those feelings, and embracing those feelings and confronting them and being open about them. And so yeah, I'm feeling good, but also I'm trying to realize that as I feel good, I can feel bad as well. And I can be impartial about both of those feelings and let them coexist. And I guess that's just about it. Lots of dog training happening here. But is this it? No, this isn't it. Is the major, I think the most baseline work that I've done is getting to know how my body feels and getting to know how my body reacts to not only food and drink and substances and medication, but also how I use it, from exercise to sitting all day to riding my bike all day. Like, you can feel just getting to know how I feel on a consistent basis after I partake in any activity, and recognizing the ones that do make me feel bad or that throw me off, you know. For the past, I don't know, 5 years, I have been fairly regular as far as my BMs go. And recognizing something that throws me off of that, well, that's a flag, you know. And we need to understand our own filter, how we filter the physical matter of what's around us. We're filtering everything out, and what we feed it will build it or degrade it with the slow violence that is built into the system. So it's always a inward out, and I feel like I've sort of related this to like Stanley Kubrick's 2001. It becomes it's the space odyssey, but it becomes the eventual journey of the mind. Once you go far enough into space, you find yourself back within your own self. So, as above, so below, but it's so below as above. It's a downward up progression. It has to start from the bottom. It has to. And we have to start from within ourselves first, and then work our way out and know our own filter. Anyways, ifeigle, FLOWTOX. Hit me up in the comments or on Twitter at @I_FEIGLE, ifeigle. Peace out. FLOWTOX 2020.